with the inventions that black people invented. And half the inventions, slave owners took credit for it. So when you see this, it's gonna make you wonder who else invented something. It's pretty amazing that you have to be hard pressed to walk a city block without coming across something that a black person has created or improved. You look at the sports, professional sports in this country wouldn't be the same without black athletes. The auto, the health, and the food industries have all benefited greatly from black people, from their minds. We have great talent and great minds, thanks to God. But aren't you tired of hearing the same Black history facts every single year? We all heard identical stories since grade school, and that's not bad, because we need to go to the roots. Which is why we want to take time today to go down a different path. We're literally in a different era now, including black history. Gone are the days when the basic stories are minimized, that minimizes the details. In other words, let's kick it up a notch. Yes, George Washington Carver was a peanut man and came up with more than 300 uses for the world's most famous legumes. However, did you know that he also was among the first to work with and find additional uses for soybean? Did y'all know that? Carver was making non-dairy cheese with soy decades before that non-dairy products became famous and sold in gourmet grocery stores. So we're enjoying that because of George Washington Carver. Carver's agriculture expertise is just the tip of the iceberg today. There are plenty of lesser known black facts that we can't wait for you to experience. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Dr. Marion Crook, inventor of voice over internet protocol. You would think white folks invented that. No. Marion Clark developed voice over internet protocol, ability to make calls over a digital device. The reason you can still make a call over Wi-Fi when you don't pay your bill. Ever wondered how we went from using a house phone, then stopping at a payphone while out to have a car phone, then in the blink of an eye have humongous cell phones, and overnight convert to using small digital devices just to make a call? Well, without Marion, we wouldn't be able to talk on any digital device. Marion is a modern invention known for developing the voice over internet protocol, also known as VoIP. This technology converts a person's voice into a digital signal and allows calls to be made from a digital device like your computer, cell phone, even tablets. We can say that we owe Marion for being able to talk on our iPhones every day. Marion was born in 1955 and raised in New York City. She attended Princeton University for her doctorate and with a focus status, statistical analysis, and social psychology. Marion began her research at her job at Bell Labs, now AT&T, in Human Resource Factors Research Division. Her main goal was to learn how tech can be used to impact people's lives in a positive way. She then worked on figuring out the possibilities of digital telecommunications instead of using traditional phone lines to make calls. She is now Vice President of Engineering at Google, was formerly the Senior Vice President of Research and Development at AT&T. Marion holds over 200 patents and is an inductee of the Women in Technology International Hall of Fame. Just this year, but it was 2022, Marion has inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame for her voice over internet protocol technology. So we owe Marion for our telephone, our digital telephones, our internet, which I never would have thought. The next one we're going to talk about is Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, inventor of caller ID and call waiting. The reason we know who to block and keep people from
Call you later.
and keep people on hold, and the reason you can dodge those bill collectors.
There you go.
Most of us don't remember having a caller ID or even rotary phones. However, there was a day when no one name would pop up when the call came. Voicemails weren't just second thoughts. They were priority. Because if you missed the call, there was no way to know when and who called. And if they did not leave a voice message, we think Shirley Ann Jackson, we can dodge calls.
Amen.
Or even get excited to answer when we see who's calling. Shirley had a number of successful physics experiments that made breakthrough in scientific research that led to the invention of the fax machine. We all know how that was when it came along. The touch-tone phone, fiber optic cells, solar cells, and the technology used for caller ID and call waiting. Shirley is a known physics and former head of the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. She was the first Black woman to get a doctorate in physics in the United States. Shirley was the first to receive a doctorate degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She was the first woman and African American to serve the president of, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this word. Rensselaer Polytech Institute. She was also appointed to serve on President Barack Obama's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology. She was invited to the White House for an honor, the highest honor for scientific achievement, the National Medal of Honor. We owe Shirley. Without her, we wouldn't have achievements in the workplace, and we really wouldn't be able to dodge calls after that horrible first day.
Amen.
You know about the horrible first day?
Call you later.
Okay, just to give you a brief history on some of the others, if it weren't for black inventors, we would still be living in the ancient times. We all have Alexander Miles to thank for the elevator's automatic doors to his design. 1867 patent. Riders had to manually open and close 2 sets of doors when entering and exiting the elevator. Can you remember the man standing at the elevator and he would go on the elevator and close the doors and take you to whatever floor you wanted to go to? There used to be that. Young folks wouldn't know about that, right? If a passenger forgot to close one of the doors, subsequent elevator riders risked the potentially fatal fall down the elevator shaft. Because as necessity is the mother of invention, Miles created the mechanism that forced both elevator doors to close simultaneously, thus preventing dangerous accidents. We have Thomas L. Jennings, a black businessman and tailor in New York City, invented what we know today as dry cleaning. Jennings applied for a patent in 1820 and received his history-making approval the following year. With the money he earned from his invention, the formerly enslaved person both donated to abolitionist causes and even reportedly freed his still enslaved family members. Marion Van Britten Brown created an early version of the modern home security system more than a century later. That's something we all needed with the crime, break-ins. Feeling unsafe due to her neighborhood's high crime rate, the full-time nurse rigged a motorized camera to record her home in entryway and project images on a TV monitor. Also included in her setup was a 2-way microphone in order to communicate with visitors without opening the door, as well as a panic button to notify police of any potential emergencies in progress. After filing to patent a closed-circuit TV security system in 1966, Brown received her approval in December 1969. Can you imagine being without your security cameras, not being able to look and see who's at your door, even away from home? We're still using that invention today. One that we didn't know a black woman had invented, at least I didn't know. Daniel Hale Williams, MD, performed the first open heart surgery. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a black cardiologist, performed the first successful heart surgery and also founded the first non-segregated hospital. That's amazing. Especially in a world where black people had a hard time getting patents. So, did anybody learn something they didn't know? All of them?
Yes, ma'am.
I did. I didn't know any of that and I was amazed. Thank God
Yes, ma'am.
for blessing black people.
Amen.